Hey, how you doing, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Concept Podcast. I'm your host, Mr. Pagan. Welcome back. Thank you for joining me. I like to say, every day I like to say different things. I hope you're feeling well. I hope mentally, physically, and spiritually, God is blessing you in abundance in your life. Your creator, your whatever higher power or deity that you worship blesses you in your life and just continue to blesses you, with physical health, mental health, and spiritual health throughout your daily journey, throughout your life. Um, First of all, I want to put out there, I like to appreciate anybody who's going out there listening to different playlists that I'm sharing my music on. I just got onto a NBA pregame hype playlist, NBA 2K25, 2K24 playlist, and a few other playlists as well. Yeah, I'm putting legs behind whatever I create. You know what I mean? Whatever I manifest and create, you know what I mean? I did it out of, it took time, it took passion, it took hard work, you know what I mean, to create anything. So, I gotta give whatever projects I've been working on legs. So that's what I've been doing. I've been giving my music legs, and I'm gonna continue to do so. I'm gonna continue to give my books legs, and I'm gonna continue to do so. My podcast as well. So I appreciate you for joining me. And if you're joining me and you watch this much of the video, I would like for you to like, share, and subscribe. Okay. Um, I tried to record this video earlier. I'm just be candid with you. I tried to record it earlier in a location. I couldn't really get my thoughts together for whatever reason. I couldn't really. I was trying to record. I had a guest that popped up out of nowhere. I don't normally have guests on my podcast, but this guy just popped up out of nowhere next to me. So it was like, you know what I mean? I just felt uncomfortable about doing a podcast right there. You know what I mean? Normally when I'm expounding on my thoughts and my feelings and you know, I just like to be alone in that moment. You know what I mean? I understand that I'm doing this in a public space, but at the same time I would like to get my thoughts and feelings out there without anybody, interfering, basically. Today's concept is about our mental health and our spiritual health. And yeah, how we could protect that and stay in that space. Like, see, that's what I like. Okay, I was just saying that, and I look up for a moment, and I got people in my face. I don't mind the squirrels or the birds in my face, but for somebody to be doing something or trying to create something, and for you to be in their face, in their, like, why do that? You see somebody creating something, it's like give them their space, let them create. You know what I mean? Because you never know what a person's paying attention to, and that ties into spirituality, because we're all connected. Spiritually, we're all connected through our chakras, through our the same energy that flows through me, flows through, everything in my environment. We got to take an account for that. Just your attention on somebody else can actually attract their attention. You know what I mean? If you ever notice when you look at somebody, they don't even have to be looking at you. And for some reason, they'll just turn around and look in your direction. It's because they felt the eyes. They felt your eyes on them. You know what I mean? They felt an energy. They felt something. So that energy transference is real. You know what I mean? People using your energy against you for good or for bad, or for right or for wrong. It's a real thing. You know what I mean? We're all spiritual beings. We're all intellectual beings inside a physical body. You know what I mean? That's why we got to make sure that we stay up on our spiritual health and our mental health as well, because at any time things can get, at any time things can go haywire in our life, right? And you never know when you're going to need time to rest, recuperate, this or that. You know what I mean? You never know when you're going to need time to mentally rest and recuperate, or physically rest and recuperate. If you need that time to rest and recuperate, you got to make sure that you're that you're healthy enough to afford yourself that time. Because a lot of us go, say you get into an accident, have a bad accident, but you're already in bad health, right? So now you sitting up, you're laying there, you're in this coma or whatever it is, or in this sling or whatever, and now your health is actually getting worse. You're deteriorating because the accident that you had while you was already unhealthy is now making you deteriorate even more. That's on the physical side of things. On the spiritual side of things, you just got to get to know you. You got to get to know the God that's within you and understand that not all of us are the same spiritually. Not all of us are the same spiritually. Even people within the same religion aren't the same spiritually. You know what I mean? You have people within a religion that are really devoted to that religion and actually learning about that religion and actually living and walking in the beliefs of that religion, walking in whatever truths that religion has to offer. Then you have people whose intentions aren't that, whose intentions aren't so pure. They're just in a religion because they're comfortable with it. They was born into it. They begin to get cynical in their own spirituality and things like that. At that point, you should realize that it's time for you to step back from whatever it is that you're in. You know what I mean? From whatever religion or whatever belief or whatever it is that you're in or whatever situation you're in, to step back and say, hey, I gotta really I gotta really evaluate if what I'm doing is the right thing for me. Especially if your goals and your morals and your values aren't in line with the goals, morals, and values of the religion, of the organization, of whatever party you're in. You know what I mean? If it's not aligning with your goals, morals, and values, then you know uh, you have to find a spot for you. Birds of a feather flock together, and if you're flocking with with birds that you know has different feathers, then it's like, how could you possibly get ahead? They're going to lead you to a place where you don't belong. They're going to lead you to a place where you know what I mean, where their kind is at. They're not going to lead you to a place where your kind is at. You want to be led to a place where your kind is at, where you could be around people that's like-minded, in that same spiritual space and that same mental space. Physical, that's here nor there. None of us are the same physically, but you know, we have to accept the differences. Our physical differences are, we all look different. We all younger, older, bigger, smaller, taller, shorter, uh, whatever the case may be. We all have different things going on with us. As long as we can accept each other as people, you know what I mean, as spiritual and intellectual beings here, you know what I mean, learning these lessons, living this life and going through our, everyday thing. You know what I mean? You have to respect that. You have to respect each other's mind, because all of our mind, just like our spirits are all intertwined, our mind is all intertwined as well. We all fish from the same intellectual pool. A lot of people don't realize it, but it's one big ass intellectual pool and it's just there. You diving into it don't mean it is yours. You diving into it, I'm gonna give a prime example. Prince and Michael Jackson, for some reason, believed that they had to stay up for hours and hours in order to receive a hit song. They didn't believe that they was making this music. They believed that these songs were being delivered to them from somewhere. You know what I mean? Like they was pulling these songs out of some ether, some intellectual pool that we all fish from. Prince understood that, and Mike understood that. You know what I mean? So they would stay up and do whatever they did and entertain themselves until they got that, what they was looking for out of that pool. So it goes to show you that we're all connected on a way higher level than a lot of us can comprehend. A lot of us, give me a second, I gotta take a sip. Ah, these liquid deaths is popping. If you never had one, try 'em. But yeah, we all fishing out of the same intellectual pool and we all, pretty much got the same idea some of our visions may be a little bit different, maybe a little bit blurry as well. But it's like once you have that vision or that idea and you run with it and you create it, it's never going to be the same as somebody else's. You know, you might even have somebody thinking that you're copying off of them, that you're, you know what I mean, that you do, but it's not that. It's just the fact that the intellectual pool is there. If you're having this idea, if you're having this vision, and somebody's tuned into that same, frequency or whatever you want to call it, you know what I mean, or that same idea, then you both may pull the same, it might not be the same image or idea verbatim because we all have our own mind that's going to, play a part in how things get formed in our mind. But ultimately, your visions will be pretty much similar, pretty much in line with one another. This is why you have to find the birds with the feathers like yours so you can flock with them. You know what I mean? You have to get away from the ones that's around you that just want to be around you because they know that you're different, but they're hurting you by being around you physically, spiritually, and mentally. You know what I mean? And physical health and spiritual health is very important, right? But where the two worlds collide is in the mind. And the mind is where your spirit and your physical meets. So you have to take care of the mind. Otherwise, that bridge in between your physical life and your spiritual life is broken. You know what I mean? If you're not taking care of your mind, then that bridge between what you're doing physically and what you conceive spiritually is broken and damaged. So really you're receiving partial information. You know what I mean? Because it's uploads and downloads. You're getting this information, you're reading this, you're doing that. We're in the age of information. So you're getting all this information, but if your mind is shattered, if your mind is broken, then you're receiving, you know, um, um, messages that you got to encode more than others may, because they may have a clearer, they may have a more in tune mind. Their mind may not be as damaged as yours through whatever you've been through in your life, through this and that. The better you could keep your mental health, the better you'll be able to keep your physical and your spiritual health. Because it's about that mental fortitude. When you stay within the realms of your mental fortitude, you can avoid eating that fatty ass cake that you know you ain't supposed to have. You know you ain't supposed to have that big ass cheesesteak. You know what I mean? Why you eating it? That's because you're not exercising your mental fortitude. You're allowing, you know, something else to win. Something else to win. We'll put it that way. So the therapists are very necessary. But in the same token, if you're used to meditation, if you're used to, you know, just being in solitude with yourself, you don't really need a therapist to get through anything. People think they do. People need other people to get through things. Yeah, but a therapist is subjective, especially when you're within the confines of your own mental fortitude. You know what I mean? When you're within those confines, you can actually self-diagnose a lot of the problems that you're having, whether that be physically, mentally, or spiritually. Because if you're having a physical problem, you can self-diagnose that just by making sure that you stick to your diet, stick to your workout regimen, and not put unhealthy things in your body. You know what I mean? Just by exercising that mental fortitude, you just helped yourself avoid high cholesterol and diabetes because you was able to exercise and stay within the confines of your mental fortitude. You didn't allow that to become broken. And it's the same way with spirituality. You know what I mean? A lot of people allow themselves to gravitate towards a religion because somebody else's belief. You know what I mean? Or a situation they're in. because you're in a stressful situation and you feel like your back's against the wall. You feel like the best thing for you to do is, um, click up with a religion or whatever, and start devoting yourself. That's fair, man. That's slavery. That's fair. Look at the squirrel. I love when the squirrels come around, man. But yeah, man, you know, that's not really believing in the creator that's within you. You know what I mean? If you're going to sit up there and click up with a religion and you don't know anything about their beliefs, you don't care to know about anything about their beliefs. All you're thinking about is protection, or who can hide me, who can guard me, who could put their armor up to protect me from what's going on in my environment, or this. You're going to be searching forever. We all going to be searching forever if you're doing that. You know what I mean? When you're born into a religion, right? And then you think yourself out of that religion. Like your mind will tell you everything doesn't calculate or add up about that religion. That's because maybe the creator is trying to tell you that it's time to explore different belief systems, different religions and spiritualities and things like this. How could you grow? Ah, squirrely. How could you grow as a person, as a spiritual being, if you're not exploring other spiritualities or other belief systems? You're not really doing any growing. You're just going in a vicious circle, in a vicious cycle that's indoctrinating you into a certain belief system. When that belief system might not even have anything to do with your people and where you're from and with how you're supposed to believe. You know, before there was religion, there was the energy that animates this body, right? And those people came up with books, words, this or that, uh, spiritual beliefs, systems, things like this. And they came up with this using their intellect, using their spirit and their intellect and their physical bodies combined. You know what I mean? It took all three. It took the physical to actually create the books and write the words and everything, right? It took the spiritual to actually feel that energy and be moved to actually, you know, be moved to actually acquire this information out of this intellectual pool. You know what I mean? And then you got to think. You know what I mean? You have to. You know what I mean? Actually, you know, calculate everything that you're thinking, everything that's in your mind, to actually put it down on paper and to create these writings. You know what I mean? And understand which writings are from a divine source and which writings are from the flesh. You know what I mean? It's like, yeah, I could write a bunch of words in a book, but which words are from me and which words are from the creator? Which words did I write which words did I write that were inspired by the creator, that didn't come from a cynical place of being a man, right? A place where it's ego and it's greed driven, or a vanity or envy. It's you have to sit down and decipher that. Sometimes it takes multiple minds to decipher, with you know eh, you never know. You never know. It's a deep topic. I get choked up a lot of times when I'm talking. I got a little bit of social anxieties. It comes and goes. You know what I mean? A lot of times I just get emotional when I'm talking about a certain topic, or because it's really touchy. It's really emotional because it really means something. You know what I mean? If it didn't mean anything, there wouldn't be any emotion behind it. But since it actually means something, and since it actually means something to me, it may not mean anything to you. You know what I mean, in your personal life. But when something actually means something to me, it really gets me choked up. You know what I mean? Especially when you realize that all of us been lied to all this time. You know what I mean? You have few organizations and groups with the truth about everything, but they don't widely spread the information. Yeah, it's out there, and You know, there's so much, rhetoric and lies twisted around the truth that you really never really get a definite, finite answer on anything. How you doing? Cute, cute dog. You never get a definite or finite answer about anything. I know my nose is. I got a definite and finite answer about my fucking nose being stopped up right now because it is. Um, but yeah, man, if you feel like you need a therapist to solve a problem that you're dealing with, go for it. You know what I mean? Because all of us is figuring this shit out. I'm fortunate enough to be with that. I'm fortunate enough to be able to figure out my own situations without having to go to sit with a little man or woman with a clipboard, analyzing my life and doing all this. Maybe I should. I don't know. You know what I mean? It's something that I thought about in the past, but I never pulled the trigger on it because I was always able to figure out my things. But if you want a health issue documented, you would have to go to a therapist. I would say that therapy is good for that. You know what I mean? If you suffer from anxiety, post-traumatic stress for whatever reason, this or that, you have to have that documented so that way people could know your medical conditions, whether that's mental or physical. So, yeah, I wanted to talk about what political candidates I was supporting. You know what I mean? Switch topics. I wanted to talk about which political candidates I was supporting this presidency and why on one of my episodes because something that popped up on my mind. I'd take pistachio break. Yeah, man. Oh, kids came around, had to put out my weed, put out my spliff. But yeah, man. Just however you do it, just stay in your good. Just however you do it, just replenish yourself mentally, physically, spiritually. You know what I mean? I'm gonna give you a few tips. One for one, we two for two. Get a massage. Go actually get some physical therapy, some sort of physical therapy. You know what I mean? Actually sit up there and go to a massage parlor and places like this because you need it. You know what I mean? That physical touch, that release. You know what I mean? Those pressure points being massaged on and all of that stuff. It helps you. It helps you spiritually. It helps you mentally. Just you know, experiment with it. Go actually get a professional massage. Don't try to go for it for the happy ending and all that. No, don't do it for that. Go and actually get a massage and just enjoy getting a massage. You know what I mean? And enjoy, being an adult, getting a massage, and just feeling the release of whatever tension that's in your body. You know what I mean? A lot of us never even do this. Like I'll be honest with you, it took up until I was 30 and in my 30s to actually go get a massage. You know what I mean? Like it took me up until I was in my 30s to actually do that. You know what I mean? I never knew how much I actually needed that. You know what I mean? It feels good. And it's different from actually going out spending money on a, you know what I mean, giving a woman money for some, you know what I mean, for, or paying for a date because you know it's going to wind up leading to sex or whatever. It's different from doing that because you're not paying for sex. You're paying for a physical touch that's healing to you. I'm gonna challenge you to do this. Anybody out there watching this podcast, I'm gonna challenge you to do this. Go out and actually for about 2 times a week, get a massage. 2 times a week for about, I want to say, 3 weeks. If you could do that, or even 1 time a week for about 3 weeks, you know what I mean? You'll be surprised how better you feel, how much better you will feel. You know what I mean? Over the course of the time, when you getting the massage and everything, and you going back and you're relaxing and doing the proper things with your body. Even at like, let's say you got a heavy lifting job or whatever, you have to get those massages in order to keep your body in in the right condition to be able to do the job that you're doing. You have to treat yourself well, mentally, physically, and spiritually. you know Mentally, you have to create, you have to find an outlet to do something. Many of us come up with outlets that don't even belong to us. You know what I mean? It's like we're chasing somebody else's passion instead of chasing what we're passionate about. Have to find your own creative outlet. This is why a lot of people wind up in a position they don't want to be in, because you're chasing somebody else's goal, or you let somebody take your dream, steal it from you, and propel past and then it made you stop doing whatever you was doing. You can't do that. You can't do that. You have to keep creating, keep innovating, keep doing things your way, because there's only one you. There's only one story that you get to tell. You have this life. Yeah, you probably had lives in the past. We don't know what spiritual cycle we're in, but this is the life that you have right now. This life is going to take you on a journey you probably never thought that you would be on before. But here you are on this journey, living this life. You just have to be able to wrap your mind around it. If you can wrap your mind around the life that you have, the life that you're living, for whatever reason that is, if you can wrap your mind around that, you will be able to better navigate your situation. You will be able to better handle your situations and not be overwhelmed by the mental stress that your life can deal in your life. That the mental stress could deal in your life. You know, you have people, who are famous, celebrities, and they have imposter syndrome because they can't really wrap their mind around the life that they have. Sometimes they have to be sitting, sometimes they have to sit with a therapist and be, coached into, you know, understanding how they need to carry themselves because they're this person now. So they can't carry themselves like this anymore because they're this person now. You know what I mean? They still trying to go and do the same things that they used to do, the same ways that they used to do them, but they can't do them that way now because they're this person. They haven't fully wrapped their mind around their life that they're living, the lifestyle that was afforded to them, that was bestowed upon them. So they develop that imposter syndrome, and they need help with that. It's a lot of people in everyday society. They can't wrap their mind around the life they have, so they become, schizophrenic or crazy or this or that, or develop all types of issues because they can't wrap their mind around that situation. And it's not that they have imposter syndrome. They're fully aware of who they are, and they're not fully aware of who they are, but they're fully aware of their situation and what hand they were dealt, but they just don't know how to get out of it, or they allow that to uh, corrupt or rot whatever good brain cells they have. They think about it, they stress about it so much, they do so much drugs about their situation, they they can't come up out of it now. They trap themselves in that moment, in that time period. It's like a time capsule. You know get so fucked up, you just you get trapped in that. The mind is I don't have to explain it. The mind is very fragile. You know what I mean? And at a certain point in time, if you're dealing with a certain situation for so long and it's so complex or whatever, you know what I mean? Sometimes your mind breaks. A mind can break. It can be pushed to break. If you don't want it to break, you have to treat it well. You have to make sure that you're stimulating yourself creatively. You got to make sure that you're meditating. You got to make sure that you're, just having your own personal space, doing something that affords you the luxury to just think outside of whatever situation or problem you may be facing in life, and understand that life is bigger than that situation or that problem, even if it seems like it's not. Trust me, I'm one to tell you that, you know, you can have a problem or a situation that seems bigger than the fucking city you live in, but you still got to live outside of that problem or situation. Even if you got to live with it, you can live outside of it. Yeah, it may be with you in some way, in some shape, some form, but you're not that situation. You're not that problem. You're not defined by that situation and that problem. So you have to live outside of that. You have to, pull yourself out of whatever situation or problem that you're having, mentally, to get you in the position to need a therapist, and just step outside of that and look at it from a broader point of view. Get the big picture. That's what they say in driving. Get the big picture. You know, I really want to continue my podcast and eat pistachios and drink liquid death and smoke a little herb, but I gotta take a piss. I'm in the middle of the park and nowhere to go. So there you go. But yeah, man, I appreciate anybody's support out there. If you're watching a podcast, if you're, viewing, if you're looking at my books, if you're reading any of the books, if you're, listening to any of my music on playlists or on your favorite streaming platform or whatever it is, I appreciate you for supporting me. I appreciate you for giving a fuck, because to be honest with you, you know, the system can make everybody not give a fuck about the things that's going on in your personal life, even if the things in your personal life could affect them ultimately down the road, right? Because the same things I'm going through is the same things you're going through. You may not know it now or not, but whatever. And it's like when we turn a blind eye to others' pitfalls and plights and things like that, it's just, I digress. Like, share, and subscribe. This is Mr. Pagan God Concept, over and out. Peace.